November 24, 1971. In America, a Northwest Orient Airlines flight took off from Portland. This is a small, 30-minute flight to Seattle City nearby. Not many passengers were on this flight. It was carrying only 36 passengers and 6 crew members. But these passengers were unaware that a hijacker was present on this flight, a man named D.B. Cooper. The hijacker looked like a normal businessman. He was dressed like that, a business suit, white shirt, and black pants. He must have been in his mid-40s. The pilots informed the air traffic controller, and soon the news reached the president of the airline, Donald Narob. He was the decision maker, and he made an interesting decision. He told the staff to ensure full compliance with Cooper's demands, to fulfill all demands made by this hijacker. After coordinating with the FBI, he talked to a Seattle bank to arrange the money. The bank had a huge bundle of money for such emergencies, but there was something special about this bundle of money. We will talk about it later in the video, but you must be wondering, why did the airline's president decide to cooperate with the hijackers? The airline's president didn't want the news of the hijack to spread all over the world, leading to heavy losses for his company. So to keep this issue under wraps, he was willing to fulfill the demands of the hijackers. The only problem was that they needed some time to arrange the money, but this flight was only supposed to be half an hour long. So the pilots were told that instead of landing the plane, they were to keep circling around Seattle until they could arrange the money on the ground. This half-hour flight gradually became 3 hours long. Passengers were still unaware of what was happening. Flight pilots announced that they were facing minor technical difficulties, causing the delay. The other passengers believed this. Finally, this flight landed at Seattle's airport at 5:46 p.m. According to Cooper's instructions, the plane was parked far from the main terminal building. One airline representative approached the plane with a bag of money and the parachutes. When the 4 parachutes and the bag of money was given to Cooper, he allowed the passengers and flight attendants to leave the plane except Tina Mucklow. After this, according to the plane was refueled and it takes off again. This time, only the pilots were on the plane along with Cooper and Tina. Cooper started giving instructions to the pilots again. For the destination of the flight, the speed of the flight, down to the very angle. He directs them to fly the plane towards Mexico City, at an altitude of 10,000 feet in the air, with the wings positioned at 15 degrees. As for the plane's speed, he wanted to fly as slow as possible. The pilots told Cooper that flying with these configurations would make it difficult for them to reach Mexico City, because there wasn't enough fuel in the plane. But Cooper was not worried about it. Cooper told them to fly as he directed. Friends, what happened next is completely unbelievable. No less than a film story. Cooper told Tina to go to the cockpit and lock the door. Cooper was the only person outside the cockpit. He took out his parachutes and prepared to dive. A few minutes later, a warning light flashed in the cockpit, indicating that the rear staircase had been deployed. This was a unique feature in these planes back then. Boeing 727 planes had an aft staircase at the back. In the photos, you can see how the stairs deployed from the back. Cooper deployed these stairs and jumped out with the parachutes and the money. The pilots and the air hostesses did not see this happening because they were locked in the cockpit, and back then there was no hole on the cockpit door through which they could see outside. But at 8:13 p.m., pilots noticed that the back part of the plane suddenly tilted upwards, and the pilots had to recalibrate and re-level the plane. After this, the pilots flew the plane to Nevada and landed in the city of Reno. The police were informed and they investigated the plane, but they didn't find any trace of Cooper. The only things the police could find was a tie with a clip on it and some torn parts of the parachutes, which Cooper had used to cover the bag of money. Apart from this, they found some personal items belonging to Cooper, like the cigarettes he was smoking on the plane. Smoking was allowed in aeroplanes back then. Investigators investigated everything thoroughly, and they found 66 unidentified fingerprints. Fingerprints belonging to neither the crew members nor to the other passengers. But the suitcase that had the bomb, the bag of money, and the parachutes were all missing, like Cooper. From that day, the FBI started its investigation to find Cooper, but no trace of Cooper was found. This investigation went on for 45 years. It was officially closed in 2016, but the answers to many questions are still unanswered. This is the only hijack in history that no one has been able to solve. One of the greatest mysteries for the FBI. Who was Cooper? What happened to him? Was the money ever recovered by the police? There are too many questions. It was possible that D.B. Cooper survived that night. So now, since the FBI started assuming that Cooper could be alive, their next task was to search the place where he had jumped. Actually, the police had started searching those jungles the day after the hijack. The police were looking for a body, a torn piece of the parachutes, or a $20 bill. At the beginning of the video, I told you that the money given to Cooper was special. The special thing was that there were $20 bills. 10,000 notes of $20, $200,000 in total. And the serial numbers of these notes were noted down by the bank. The FBI spread the list of serial numbers throughout the country. From banks to casinos, everyone was told to inform the FBI if they got the notes of those serial numbers. But it was becoming more and more difficult for the investigators to find copper, because where could the search area be drawn? There were many variables. What was the wind speed while the plane was flying? How dark was it? What was the exact location of the plane when Cooper jumped? After jumping, at what height did Cooper deploy his parachutes? And in which directions could the parachutes have gone? The investigators' best estimate was that it would have landed somewhere near Lake Merwin in Washington state. The FBI ran a practical experiment. If we fly the same aircraft with the same configurations and push out a 91-kilogram sled through the stairs, based on where the sled landed, we can get a better idea of the area where Cooper could have landed. Due to this, door-to-door searches were conducted in this area. The local farmhouses, the police used to knock on every door to investigate and to ask people. Petrol boats were running on Lake Merwin and Lake Yale. One company used their submarine for the search. 200 feet under the Lake Merwin, they continued to look for him. They wanted to find either the money, a piece of the parachute, or a body, but they couldn't find anything. Eventually, the investigators published the serial numbers of the notes in the local newspaper. They ran the news that the first person to find a note from those serial numbers would be awarded $1,000. This offer remained for 3 years, but not a single note could be found. Now let's skip to 1979, 8 years since the hijack. Suddenly a pilot contacted the FBI. His name was Tom Boeing, and he worked for Continental Airlines. The night of the hijack, for minutes behind Cooper's aircraft, and 4,000 feet above, another aircraft was flying, which was being flown by Tom. Tom recalled the storm that night and said that he had never seen such a storm in his entire career. He said that the FBI's calculations regarding Cooper's drop zone were off by 80 degrees. Since he was on a plane that night, he had a better idea of where Cooper landed. He told FBI that they should be searching near the drainage area of the Washougal River. A few months later, Tom's suspicion was proven right. An 8-year-old boy found some $20 notes lying on the bank of the Columbia River. All of these were $20 bills, and some of them were still in bundles held together with rubber bands. Hijacker D.B. Cooper, the first break in the only unsolved airplane hijacking in United States history, came on a Columbia River beach. An 8-year-old boy dug up the shreds of $3,000 on Sunday. As soon as the police checked the serial numbers of these notes, it was immediately confirmed that this was the same money from years ago that was given to Cooper.